So once you become aware of the deeper self, once you become aware that you are aware, how do you communicate with your deeper self? The deeper self communicates through vibration. Vibration that is perceived by us, by your human body, in the form of a feeling or a sensation. But our mind likes to further translate this vibration or feeling, further solidify it, bring it into the material in the form of a thought. A thought is a kind of manifestation, but there is a bit of a hiccup here. This is actually inherently limiting because the vantage point of the mind is not the same as the vantage point of the deeper self. And even as you begin to blend with the deeper self, there are some concepts and ideas that don't actually translate. Why is this? Welcome back to the Deeper Self podcast. I'm Unique Bell, and today we're going to be talking about communicating with the deeper self. And why is it that certain concepts get lost in translation or don't fully translate, and how you can actually sense beyond the mind and experience a phenomenon that I like to call thought-free knowing. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel or both so that you'll get notified when an episode is released and I can continue to get these videos to you. And so the deeper self is the eternal, ever-present awareness that breathes us all. It is always connected to Source, infinite intelligence, God, whatever terminology resonates with you, and at the same time, tuned in, loving and appreciating you and your human experience. It is aware of you. It is always holding you with unconditional love, a gentle love. But it's not viewing your world from the same vantage point that you are. Unlike the human mind, the deeper self does not tune to contrast. Meanwhile, the mind does. The mind uses contrast in order to form theories, thoughts, and ideas. To the mind, something is one thing because it's not another thing. We define something based on how it contrasts to another. We know an apple tree is not an orange tree because it bears apples and not oranges. We know a car is not a cat, even though we sometimes mix it up on Instagram. To the mind, something is one thing because it's not another thing. Meanwhile, to the deeper self, something just is. And so, because the deeper self doesn't tune to contrast, there's certain ideas and concepts that the deeper self experiences and knows that can't be translated through the mind because the mind needs that contrast in order to communicate it into a thought or an idea. And that automatically can create this scenario where we feel like sometimes when we sense something in meditation, when we're connecting to our deeper self, maybe you go ahead and purchase the Accessing the Deeper Self meditation from my online store, uniquebell.com/shop. Links are below, all that goodness. So let's say you go ahead and you purchase and you've started your morning meditation practice. You may notice that as you tune to your deeper self and as you're in that sensory awakened state, there's so much that you sense and feel. And as you try to find the words for it, the perfect words for it, you feel yourself actually being pulled out of the experience, feeling pulled out from the connection with your deeper self. Because as you're trying to, the mind so desperately wants to find the words to translate what it's experiencing, it's actually pulling you out of the experience because the mind is needing to operate on the basis of contrast. And that doesn't mean that we can never translate what we're sensing and feeling from the perspective of our deeper self. It just means that the full richness of what we're sensing and feeling isn't always captured in the words. Oftentimes, it's captured in the vibration that you hold, and it's communicated as you're speaking. Actually, it's communicated vibrationally more so than even the words that you're speaking. It's like when you're listening to these videos or these podcast episodes, I'm hoping that you're actually catching the feeling of behind the words that I'm saying, that you're actually able to feel your way there and you're finding resonance more so vibrationally than through the words that I'm saying. But I actually want to invite you today to release this requirement to find the perfect translation to what you're feeling and sensing when you connect to your deeper self. So especially if you're a teacher like me, or you are a guide, or you're a space holder, I know that you have a life mission to help others, or you feel called to help others. You love and adore watching people progress on their self-healing journey or their personal development journey. And so you want to be able to translate what you're feeling and bring, that goodness that you're experiencing in from your own meditation practice. You want to bring it to others and share the fruits of your practice with others. But here's the thing, and this is something that I had to learn in order to even step into this capacity of teaching. Because even the idea that I need to find the perfect words to communicate is a limiting thought. It's a limiting perspective. It's based on a fear that I won't be understood, and that vibrationally, this beautiful essence that I've found so much healing and love and source of strength from cannot be translated. I can't share it with others. And that is simply not true. We can feel and sense your energy just as you sense your deeper self. And moreover, you can't actually come to know what I know through just words. And you can't make others know what you know through just your words. I can't know what you know just through your words. I have to vibrationally resonate in order to fully receive the message and know what you know. To actually receive the full understanding behind the words, I have to find a way of vibrationally resonating with you. And that's why if you love to reread some of your favorite spiritual books or scripture or text, you'll notice that as you deepen in your practice and you come back to the work, you pick up on new things, right? Because your vibration has shifted and you can now receive more of the understanding because you're in a place of resonance. But I want to add another layer to this, and it's that I can actually come to know what you experience through your deeper self by connecting to my deeper self and sensing from my deeper self. We're all tuning into source, right? We're all tuning into infinite intelligence, source, God, whatever you want to call it, whatever the terminology is that fits you. And so the quest is not to try to find the perfect words, but to connect into your own deeper self. And that is how you actually can gain wisdom and access your own soul's knowing. I can never be your source of knowing. I can never be your source of knowing. I can never replace your deeper self, and you cannot be the deeper self for me. And so I want to invite you to give up the need to find the perfect words or to communicate what you're feeling and reduce the vibrational richness that you're sensing when you're in your meditation practice to words that kind of fit, don't fit, or just spend so much time trying to communicate it in the perfect way. When you give up this need to translate the vibration that you're feeling into words and instead relish and absorb yourself in the vibrational richness of what you're sensing, you set yourself free. You now become free to directly communicate with your deeper self. You become free to communicate in the language that your deeper self is speaking. You're now able to access thought-free knowing. And from here, you can feel and sense and communicate with your deeper self with vibration. And this will give you the ability to allow the vibration to build momentum and to become more dense, to take its time to form into a manifestation of a thought, an idea, or a physical, experience. And you're also able to experience your world and the universe from a different perspective. You're able to actually feel the aliveness and the consciousness within every particle of the universe. And it leaves me speechless every time I open myself up, open my senses to this. It's just beyond words. So if you're ready to communicate in the language of your deeper self and continue to explore this practice, come and join me in the live webinar series. If you haven't already, definitely get the Accessing the Deeper Self guided meditation. You can purchase that at uniquebell.com/shop. The link will be wherever you're listening, either in the caption, in the description of this video, or you can simply head to the URL. Do it old school. In the next live webinar, we are going to be exploring meeting the deeper self by sensing in the void. So this is going to be a really fun session where you're going to be learning how to focus in on the sensations and stay there and allow yourself to be absorbed by what you're feeling rather than rushing to try to translate that vibration into words. So please come and join me in that next upcoming live webinar. I'm excited to connect with you there. And thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. We have 2 more episodes in this season of the Deeper Self podcast, introducing you to the deeper self. So you don't want to miss those final 2 episodes. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And please do leave a rating and a review. I love hearing from you. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment in the chat, say hello or ask questions. I'm excited to connect with you there. Alrighty, I hope to see you very soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Remember to get that morning meditation. Check out the links in the description, and I'll see you soon.